You are listening to the REI Mastermind Podcast. Join JD as he chats with industry-leading real estate experts and professionals. We learn from their experience and uncover the strategies to their success that we can implement into our own businesses, and we can drive immediate results today. They share their experience and wisdom as we build a foundation to our own success. This is the REI Mastermind Network.
Well, we have Brad Van De Walle. Did I pronounce that right?
Close. Brad Van De Walle. My friends of 30 years can't even say it properly, so I don't. It's a tough one.
Well, if anything, if you want to see his full spelling, go to his website, coachingwithbrad.com, especially if you're a realtor. That's what he specializes in, but he also has quite a bit of experience with real estate investing, and I really appreciate you coming on the show and providing some of that experience to our listeners today.
Yeah, I appreciate you having me. It means a lot. Thanks so much.
So I know you're up in Canada. I'm just curious with our Canadian neighbors, how has the COVID been treating you up there?
It's definitely more lockdown than the United States. I find you guys are a little bit of a free for all times, but we've had to be locked down. That being said, last year was the best year in 11 years I've ever had in real estate. So I think you just got to learn to adapt. I do a lot of stuff more virtually, like first-time home buyer seminars via Zoom now, where I actually do projects, like investment projects that we do 5-year rental guarantees. So it's pretty rare to find a 5-year rental guarantee. So we do stuff that you can put, 5% down now, 5% down in 45 days, possessions in 2 years, and then you have a 5-year rental guarantee after that. So I've been doing Zoom seminars for investors and selling those too. So that's been a big, big part of my business last year, is just learning to adapt and how the world's going, I feel.
Well, that's a big lesson right there is how you've learned to adapt. I mean, how did you come across and how has doing some of these Zoom calls, how have they been received? Pretty well?
Yeah, honestly, it's a major part of my business. Like for the realtors that are possibly listening, like the first time home buyer seminars, I'm getting upwards of 100 to 120 people per webinar. Zoom.
Oh, wow.
That's insane. And then my investor webinars that I'm doing with my marketing team, I'd say the most we had on is 130. Mm-hmm. So it's of course, people looking for investment opportunities, especially whenever people see, in Canada, we have some stuff, we market to Toronto, who's obviously a massive city, and their prices are crazy. And in Calgary, our market's great. Our prices are still at an all-time low. They're starting to go up now. And when you can offer an investor a 5-year rental guarantee, let's think about this. It's a 5-year rental guarantee. Even if the place is vacant for 5 years, you're still guaranteed 6.5% of the purchase price yearly, then obviously divided by monthly. So somebody's looking for a great investment opportunity, it's huge. And the project's not ready for 2 years. So you don't have to think about this thing for 7 years total. So there's a lot of people that have been interested in something like that.
Can you compare that? What kind of turnouts would you have typically seen if you would have done all of this in person?
I'll be honest with you, I never did.
Oh.
It's a concept that we came up with. We were doing first time home buyer seminars live, right? We do them in brick and mortar. COVID hit. We tried Zoom, and then we were getting tons of action from Zoom. And then I thought, I'll be honest with you, I'm like, can I sell a $350,000 condo or $400 via Zoom to somebody that's never been to my city? I'm like, I don't know, but we did it and we sold a ton. So it was just flying by the seat of my pants, to be completely honest. It was so successful with the first time home buyer seminars. I'm like, well, let's just try to see if investors want to come on board. And we were fortunate enough that we crushed a bunch of units that way too.
Yeah. Wow. So can you talk now? You've really piqued my interest here on this,
Sure.
the way this Zoom thing works.
I know.
So, because I think a lot of people are struggling with what you've just solved here to a certain extent. So when you are selling properties to these audiences, how do you present these properties via Zoom? Are they photos, videos? Are you actually at the places?
I know. So like, I'm pretty comfortable on Zoom. I've done a ton of these in these webinars. So if somebody's looking to do it, obviously make sure you practice. But, we have a whole pitch deck, a slide deck. We show the numbers, we show the units. There are videos of the renderings that look basically like it's real, and just talk about the project and the investment opportunity and how, we had a limited amount of units for a 5-year rental guarantee. We had, probably 3 or 4 different projects, just depended what people's threshold was. And yeah, it's a concept that, like, honestly, your numbers aren't super great. I'm not going to sit here and say that there's 100 people on and 10 bought. That's normally not the case. It's probably still the 1 or 2% being realistic. Mm-hmm. But that being said, it's an hour and a half Zoom. If you're getting paid as a realtor 4 to 6% commission and you're double ending it, it can be very, very lucrative, and it's a way. But then what we've had so many that now we have a following. So now we have like 3,000 or 4,000 people that are in our database because we've been doing it for a year, that when we launch a project, it's like, here's our next project. People are like, hey, call me. I'm ready now. And people are doing it at different times. So you just got to get creative. You got to get creative in your market with how to do different things.
So when you kicked this off, like, how did you promote it? Mostly social or?
All Facebook. Yeah. And I'm not a tech person. So I have a marketing team that did it for me. They went and launched, and it's being strategic in how you're launching it, because Toronto's market is double to triple what we are here. And a lot of investors can't afford to invest in Toronto. So, but they want investment properties. So we got with a couple developers and said, hey, our costs are less than half. They're not ready for 2 years plus the 5-year rental guarantee. And people from Toronto were like, oh my gosh, this is nothing. And everything cash flows. So it's finding an audience that would be interested, I think, is a big part of the marketing strategy for it. Is, if you live in Orlando and you have some really great places, and let's say, that, and I'm making this up for the record, let's say, that 30% of your clients are coming from New York because people are fleeing New York. What you want to do is market there. Don't necessarily market in your own backyard, market where it seems inexpensive, and like have that strategy and that mentality. Is don't necessarily go in your backyard, is where are people coming from, find that demographic and go market there. So you're the go-to expert for the people in your city.
Mm-hmm. So is, up in Canada, is that something new regarding the 5-year lease guarantee? I mean, I haven't heard people using that before.
I've never seen it. We kind of created it. My business partner, Mark, was the concept behind this idea that we had, and launched it about 1.5 years ago. We actually sold 187 units to investors in Ontario in 2 weeks. So nobody even in my own city. So they came in, then everybody's like, hit the papers. Everybody's like, oh, it's a fluke. And then he did it again for 87 units just this October. So it's not a fluke. You just got to know the right people and provide the right recipe, as we call it. It has to be a certain way for people to get on board, but it's definitely possible.
Sure. Huh. So during your let's talk about your real estate investor meetups via Zoom. What kind of content do you typically cover?
Most of the time it's project based. So if I have, it just depends. It's going to be different project by different project. Sometimes we go back, like at first we had a 3-year rental guarantee, sold out a bunch. Then we had a 5-year rental guarantee to push us to the finish line to sell out some of the rest. So I talk about Calgary, why invest in Calgary. Calgary is one of the top cities in North America. It's got rated one of the top in the world. We've been a little bit suppressed. I think truthfully, we're the only market in North America that's been going down for 6 or 7 years. Since 2014, we've been tanking. And then now we're kind of at the bottom, and now there's bidding wars. Like just the last couple months, people are starting bidding wars. We're having 8, 10, 11 offers. Like we've heard for years to our American friends and to the people out east. Now we're starting to get a taste of it too as well. So I just talk about how, we're at the bottom, invest in now. Do you want to invest here or do you want to invest here? Because at one point, Toronto and I and Calgary were neck and neck for pricing. And then, one went up and the other one went down. So
right.
We're on the mend. So just basically about the demographics of my city.
Sure. No, this is interesting how you've adapted to this. And I unfortunately, I don't think there's been a lot of people who have adapted to this online world. And I'm actually pretty impressed with the numbers you're pulling for some of these Zoom sessions.
Yeah, it's all in the 99.99% of people though would try and fail. Just being honest, I would fail myself if I didn't have the marketing person that I have. I don't know how to set up Facebook. I don't know how any do that. Then there's like text notifications that have to go out strategically. There's emails that have to go out strategically. There's call to actions that have to go out strategically to up your attendance rates. Plus, then once they're there, you have to engage and make sure that they stay there. So there's a strategy behind that too, is engaging with your audience at the beginning, asking them where they're from so they feel like they're a part of it. Then you keep going down and then you kind of stop. It's like, hey guys, what do you think of this? And they get back engaged again. So there's actually a method behind the madness, because I've done, 40 or 50 of them between the first time homebuyers seminars and the investment ones, that we really have it down to an art form. So for anybody that's starting, it can be challenging if you don't, because you might get 4 or 5 people and they're like, this is a waste. It's not the waste. You just didn't have the right tools to make it successful.
Mm-hmm. And there's always some value in doing the pitch anyway, because the more you do it, the more you're going to get good at it. So absolutely.
Even if there's 4 people on, we haven't had I think the least we had for a first time home buyer was 8, and we still went through it because you just go with the motions. It's like, it's like training a muscle. You just keep going and just get better and better and better at it and more comfortable.
Is there anything that you do to incentivize them to show up other than the reminders?
No, it's your call to action. Like a first time home buyers one, it's like, you're going to make $50,000 worth of mistakes if you buy. And people are like, holy crap. I don't want to make $50,000. So that's enough to engage people and come in. And we talk about how they could do that. And then the other one is finding our lowest price unit that we have and marketing it to, different areas of the country. It's like, get a unit for $199. And they're like, I can't even get a tree for it for $199 in my city. So that call to action, because you have 3 or 4 units at that price point, draws a lot of people in. Most of those get scooped up pretty quick, but some people will want other stuff as you show your presentation. So it's really your call to action that is a big part of what will make you successful.
I really like the concept of you're going to make $50,000 in mistakes. Yeah. I mean, that gets people's attention. That's a great line.
For sure. And even if you were, if you are an investor looking for investors, it's pretty incredible. Like, just thinking right now off the top of my head, because you're like, well, my mind's always racing once you get to know me. It's like, well, what else could we do? It's like, well, I just bought a 24 unit project. We're in the middle of an offer for one in Saskatoon, and we'll need investors. So, you can even do that. You could, if you're an investor, you could use it via Zoom, do social media, be like, are you tired of getting 3 to 5% market volatility? Like hit the pain points of people. It's like, yeah, I'm tired of the markets. They're up, they're down. As soon as, Trump tweets or Elon Musk tweets, it skyrockets, it goes down. So a lot of people looking for something more secure. So you can even find a building. If you're looking for investors, if you have a pretty guaranteed return, post it, say guaranteed returns for, as little as a $10,000 investment or what you want to do. I have never seen anybody do that. But for people that are on here that are looking to raise capital, there's nothing saying you can't have a small ad budget on Facebook. Go to the places that that have really good equity. Like Cali has amazing equity. You know what I mean? Find these people that have great equity that want to invest in other properties and make it completely hands off. So I don't know if there's an opportunity. I guarantee you there for that too. I just never seen it. I just thought of that right now, to be honest.
Do you have some like pretty regular digital events now? Like where could somebody find that if they wanted to join one of them to see what you're up to?
The truth is you could go to, again, coachingwithbrad.com. So whenever you go to coachingwithbrad.com, it'll actually go in, and I go into my first time home buyers webinar, to be honest. So if you wanted to see how I do them, you can sign up. The truth is at the end, if anybody wants to call me and has some interest, I can kind of guide you to them. I can set you to the marketing company that sets it up for me. Whatever people are looking for. I don't really teach it or coach it. Being a real estate coach, I do coach how to do it, but the tech side, I have no idea. I just basically pay somebody to be like, bring people here, and then I'll do my thing.
So, and I think one of my questions was really because I wouldn't be surprised if a few people that are listening to this might be interested in the investment options that you were talking about. They might want to peek in on.
Yeah, we have some pretty crazy investment opportunities. So, there's some stuff that you can get right now where especially with the dollar, like your guys' dollar is still great, right? So everything in Canada is 30% off right now. So if you're buying something at 500, it's 30% off of that, right? Mm-hmm. So as the dollar is creeping up, your return will get better. But there's some, I just bought one with my father-in-law and he bought another one. You're buying something at 520,000, your mortgage at 20% down is maybe $1,600, but these things rent out for $3,400 a month. Sure. So by the time you add on, you're cash flowing $800-900 a month, which is pretty absurd for that price point for a legally suited house. So there's just always options. You just got to look for them. And now with Calgary's market being suppressed, like I sold 5 to investors last week because they're like, holy crap, that's an amazing cash flow. So, you just got to look for deals. Maybe they're not in your backyard.
Right. Are they houses or are they like multifamily condo type units?
Single family homes, 520,000, 1,750 square feet up. Then a legal basement suite in the basement, 2-bedroom basement suite. You get about 2,300 up, 22 to 2,300 up, and 1,300 down, plus utilities. And it's in one of the top communities in North America in Calgary called Mahogany. It's like a massive lake community. It's one of the best places to live in Calgary. And I didn't even know it existed, being a realtor, even until 2 weeks ago. Then I told my father-in-law, I'm like, you got to get one. And full disclosure, I have a bunch of rental. I can't get any more unless it's commercial. I can't get any more residential mortgages because the bank's given me one of those because I just have too many. So I'm unfortunately not in a situation where I can buy some. Otherwise, I probably would have bought 3 or 4, to be honest.
Sure. Okay. Well, so when you were running those numbers, I guess it was your business partner regarding this 5-year lease guarantee.
Yeah.
Like how did he come across that idea?
The honest truth, love him or hate him, it was Grant Cardone. So we got his training a while ago. And our economy was really bad. Like this was like a year and a half ago, and we had sold a few units, and then the developer came to us and said, we're going to shut this whole building down because nothing was selling. And that's the whole way it was in the whole city for a long time. And then Grant Cardone said something. He said, create your own economy. And that's something that really stuck with us, where all of a sudden we're like, okay, create your own economy. Okay, if Albertans don't want to go here, who might? And then we thought, well, Toronto people have a ton of money because their properties have doubled. So they have insane equity. Now they can't reinvest. So we flew to Toronto, came up with the concept, and we asked the developer, would you take this risk and do a 3-year? That one was a 3-year rental guarantee. And we crunched the numbers and it all made sense. And we brought the whole building over and sold it all. So it was actually probably one of the, for sure, Mark, and I was, his business partner on the side. He was the one that was really bringing it forward. It was him and I was on the sidelines. Probably one of my most proud moments. And he'd say the same that we have in our career is being able to make the headlines. And we're the only building that's sold out. There's still buildings that haven't sold out in Calgary in years. And we did it in 2 weeks. So it was pretty cool.
So how do you do that? Like in the sale price, do you set aside, like put money in escrow and then make the rent payments during that period of time? Is that how it works?
So what it ends up being this way is that rent is guaranteed. So for some reason, the way that it was set up is the developer gets a property management company. They factor in, how many the vacancy. So they had to do all those numbers. We just had to sell it. They came back and said, sell this building. So they factored in about 6 or 6.5% of the purchase price that was guaranteed. So then everything cash flowed. Basically, you just get a check from the developer every month, and it happens. So then the developer takes the rents from all the buildings. They have it out. If it's money in, money out, I don't know how exactly. Maybe they put a $500K buffer in there in case there's some, vacancies and all that stuff. But the way it's done is you're paid directly from the developer, so it's guaranteed.
Okay. That's a really interesting concept. Like I said, I hadn't heard that before, and you definitely have created your own economy. I mean, I just want to point everybody to your site again. I think you're going to find that some people are going to jump on a couple of your calls or two just to see what you're up to, because I think that there is a lot of innovation that you got going on regarding what you're doing and reaching some of the people that you need to. Coachingwithbrad.com. Before we sign off, is there a question you wish I would have asked you here today?
That's a great question. How old do I look? No, I'm kidding. No, I don't.
Younger than me. Let's put it that way.
No, I'm kidding. No, it's a great opportunity. And remember, guys, people that are on the fence for investing, I'll leave you with this. I remember my very first investment that I made whenever I was 21 years old. I bought my own house. That was a big one. Then I bought a second one at 23, but I never really had, it was a vacation home. I never really had anything. And I remember I bought my first rental property and I came in and I was super proud of it. I renovated it and they destroyed it. And it was after about a couple weeks. And I'm like, I'm a realtor and I'm preaching this. I'm like, this stuff's BS. Real estate. I'm like, I'm just going to sell it and never do investment. And then a friend of mine said, just get a property manager. And ever since then, now I have about 23 or 24 different places. So just remember, take the plunge. The best time to buy real estate is yesterday. It can make a financial difference. Like if I have 24 places now, when I retire, it doesn't matter. I could be flat broke. As long as I don't ever sell these places, it's huge. So just make the first move. Indecision is the worst decision. So just make sure that you hop on the train and try it once. But I'm telling you, once you do it once, even if you have a bad experience, it's how you deal with it. You'll want to keep doing it over and over again.
Yeah. Wow. I'm going to steal that line. Indecision is the worst decision.
Take it. I stole it from somebody. I don't remember who, but I stole it too. R&D, rip off and duplicate.
There you go. Well, thank you, Brad. This was a great conversation and I hope we can chat again sometime.
Anytime.
This has been the REI Mastermind Network. You can already tell that we've made some changes and a few more are on the way. If you are interested in what we have planned, head over to patreon.com/REI Mastermind and support the show today. Financial contributions are always appreciated, along with a like, share, and review. It really helps us grow and reach more people with this valuable information. See you next time, and tell a friend.